Music. Part 2. Here I am with my annual video essay. Unlike last video where I described how music education is so incredibly useful for empowering and informing our youth about how to expand their understanding of women's cultural contribution to music from history and how best to improve it in the future, this one on the other hand is about the opposite. Here, I'm going to talk about how music education can potentially harm your students' understanding of music and culture as a whole. Music literature and music notation is something that has been developing for several centuries. We start out with early notation from Gregorian plain chants. This is what it looked like. Looks nothing at all how our modern notation system looks like. But, we have the lines, the dots, but what's lacking is the rhythmic values on notes. We later see this further develop into our modern notation system. Now the issue with this is that this is only one of many notation systems. A recent development, in my opinion, a kind of useless development, is graphic notation, which is entirely abstract and left up to the performer. Here's my interpretation of this piece. Yeah, that's right, this is a piece of music. Now these are all Western notation, designed for our 12-tone equal temperament system. But unfortunately that's excluding the vast majority of music that's out there. Music in other cultures have different numbers of notes per octave. Music notation can vary in different ways. And even some styles and musical traditions don't have any set notation. The main example of this is traditional Indian tabla drumming. There's no real notation, but instead an oral tradition with its own rhythmic solfege-like system. Now, why do I bring this up? Well, first off, music is a traditional art form. It exists solely through what our predecessors have played before us. And with that, the notation system should be taught with it, because that's how you properly honor that tradition. Except it really hasn't been honored in our education system the way that it should be. Modern music education relies entirely on our Western interpretation of music. It can be seen with modern music that uses Western notation systems such as jazz. But not only can this culturally be damaging to our students' learning, it only teaches our students one way to do things as opposed to learning several different methods for doing so. In jazz, a big part of the tradition is transcription, and transcribing music and playing it back to obtain more language and vocabulary. It's a lot like learning a language. But even at a college level, this is only slightly touched upon for all students. What can we do as educators to improve this? It's super simple. We have to be aware of the music and of the cultures that it comes from. And if you aren't going to teach it accurately, then either don't teach it at all, or if you aren't going to teach it, at least promote the beginning of self-discovery of other cultures' music. And if possible, you can give it justice by bringing in people who have experience with this certain type of music. They can teach rhythms, notation, just everything, style, and all of the above. American music education has been really focusing on only European and European-based traditional music, and it really needs to be significantly expanded.